Today what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shoot kind of looking at this like I would a ladder, but we're really shooting for groups, analyzing groups, as well as vertical dispersion, obviously. These 65.7, 65.9, 66.1, and 66.3 are all showing a very good wide node at 100 yards. The 66.3 I would anticipate is probably going to be higher on the target, therefore I probably won't use it. Again, I'm not going to get emotional about how it turns out. We'll just look at the target and make a decision there. The 65.9 seems to be right in the middle of a good node. So that's probably the load we're going to use, but we'll see what we got here. I've got the target set up. We've got a GoPro on time-lapse mode, so it should catch all the shots as we go. 2846, and it's just started giving me bolt click, even though there's no other pressure signs. Definitely something we'll have to watch out for. 2857, no bolt click. 2850. We'll go mark the target and keep going. Alright, so we got the target marked. Pretty sure that group's not going to repeat. It's probably about an inch. We're going to go up with 65.9. These are all 5/1000ths off the lands. $28.73, I think. $28.68. $28.64. We'll go mark the target. First two were probably about 2 inches, and they're right in the same point of impact. I think about 2.5 inches of vertical across those. All right, got the target marked with those. The point of impact was still consistent with the lower charge. Okay, 66.1. I think the barrel is starting to speed up. Those last ones were, I didn't even check the average, but they're probably in the 2870s. And the node had been averaging in the 2845, 2850 range. That was 2868. We'll go ahead and shoot these, but I don't I think the node's going to be that first group we shot are a little bit below it actually because of the barrel speeding up. We may have to reduce powder charge. Yep. We're getting over 2,900 now. Back to 2855. $28.63. I don't know what happened to that 2,900 one. I just think it's leaving the node and it's starting to spike up. I'll go mark the target and decide if I even want to shoot that last set of 3. Alright, so I'm going to call it quits on the Reloader 23 for today. We're not going to shoot that upper, the last powder charge. The barrel is, I think, just barely starting to speed up, and I'm going to probably start seeing some erratic behavior from velocities. That 65.7 was shot like an inch group. It had been on the lower end of this node. I imagine when the barrel speed up's done, it'll probably be on the higher end. We may have to drop powder charges, but I'm just going to shoot it until the barrel calms down and settles in. And then right now I'm going to shoot what I think is going to be a lower end of the Reloader 26 just to see how it groups, and more so to get velocities. Hopefully, I think there's going to be some accuracy with this at 2890 if I can get there. We're going to start with the lower side, and if it's already above 2890, I'm not going to shoot those higher charges. Yeah. It's already over. We'll go ahead and shoot these, but the barrel is definitely speeding up. Yeah, so that was 68.4 grains Reloader 26, 5/1000ths off. And the 50 rounds ago, those were probably in the 2850, 2860 range, and now they're over 2900. So I'm not going to shoot these upper charges. We'll wait till the barrel settles in and we'll come back and look for a lower velocity. Okay, we're out here. With any luck, this will be the final decision-making trip for load development on this WSM with Reloader 23. Due to some unforeseen circumstances, I'm at a different spot. I do shoot here often, but we can only get to 500 right now. The other spot that I usually shoot at, something came up. There's a lot of mirage. It looks like it's actually very odd. Usually I don't get mirage until that sun comes up over those hilltops, but there was a lot of mirage when I first got here. It seems to have gotten a little bit better. But we're gonna shoot 65.5, 65.7, and 65.9 grains of reloader 23 with these 215s, 5 thousandths off, and we're just checking groups. I'd really like to see the point of impact not shift. The last time we shot 65.7 and 65.9, it had a really good vertical, and it actually shot a half-inch group at 565 yards. Half-inch, not MOA. Half-inch group at 565 yards. I know that's not going to repeat, but it shows that it's going to, it wants to shoot small, but I can assure you that it won't consistently shoot that small. That's just next to impossible, if not impossible, for a hunting rifle. But the other issue is the barrel, I do believe, is speeding up. We're getting some random flyers, if you will, on the velocity, so I may have to chase this down and charge. Okay, the first one was high, and this gun's not zeroed, so I'm not concerned with where they impact versus the point of aim. They're a little high, but the first bullet was high out of the group, and then the other two were not a spectacular group, but they're probably, I don't know, 2.5 inches apart. Mirage is kind of making it hard to read. I would say maybe inch and a half of vertical, which is good for this setup, this hunting rifle. That would meet my expectations. What I'm really more focused on is the fact that, or hopefully the fact that, all three of these powder charges will land basically in the same vertical. But we'll go mark the target, let this cool, and shoot the rest. Like I said, I don't know. We're right around 100 rounds. This is not an area in the barrel. I don't even want to say break in, because I don't break in my barrels. But in the shooting process, this is a spot where I wouldn't get really emotional if you're not getting good groups, because the barrel's changing pretty quickly. Usually around 75 to 150 rounds on these bigger magnums. How much it changes depends on a lot of different things. How overboard is seems to be the most important, but the bore size, the caliber, seems to matter quite a bit too. But I might have to reshoot these, like I said, and drop it down. Those had been running in the 2840s, and that group average was 2858. So there was also, around this node, there was a dip in velocity as I increased the powder charge. So that could be what we're seeing, but we'll shoot the rest of these and then take a look at the target and go from there. All right. Now we're going to shoot the 65.7. The sun's coming up over the hill. It definitely changes the way I view the target or see the target. Mirage is already picking back up. That was 28.66. $28.56. $28.59. So we'll go down and look at that target. I did order some Bullet Central, I think micro precision sizing die, I'm not really sure what they call it, to try to see if that would fix our bolt click issue for the sizing. They do size a thousandth more at the base than the Hornady dies I had been using, but it seems to have helped, but it's not completely cured. Anyways, we'll go down there and look at that target. Alright, the average velocities have increased by 15. I'm pretty sure the barrel speed up is tapering off towards the end of it, but not quite there yet, and we're getting vertical on the target. So whereas the 65.7 seemed to be the center of the node before, I think we're going to be about a half grain, maybe 7/10 of a grain lower. I'm probably going to go ahead and drop down to like 65 and kind of creep up, but I'm not going to get too concerned about what I see on the target until the speeds stop moving. Yeah, that was 28.68 extreme spread. So I would anticipate there to be some vertical on there. We started seeing that toward the last time as I was getting up into the 66.1 and 66.3. It started moving down the target. So we'll look at the target and I'll kind of show you, this is what I'm seeing is typical of what I see when the barrel speeds up. I start to get vertical. Depending on where you are in the node, it may change. It may be coming down on the target. It may be coming up. It's usually going up, but that's not always the case. But we'll look at it, and then I'm probably going to load up some 65, 65.2, 65.4. But like I said, I'm not going to get real carried away until it stops moving up in speed, and I'm going to be looking for the node to be somewhere in the 28-45 range. It's usually pretty close, not always, after the barrel speed up. So if you find a load that's working for you before the barrel speeds up, and you note that velocity, typically after the barrel speed up, that's where the accuracy node is still going to be. But sometimes it moves a little. It's not usually much, maybe 5 or 10 foot per second average. And sometimes you do have to tweak the seating depth again, but not usually in my experience. But we'll look at the target and we'll go from there. All right, so here's our target. We got the 65.5s marked with the 5, the 65.7s marked with the 7, and the 65.9s I haven't marked yet. Okay, so looking at this target, the 65.9s had the best group, right around probably half minute, maybe a little under. Now, if you've watched the previous vlog videos on this rifle, don't get emotional about that. I can almost guarantee that's not the node. The barrel's speeding up. There may be another little node there, or that might be a fluke, but the accuracy is going to be down about 25 to 30 foot per second lower. So I think the speed up is almost done, maybe not quite there. Like I said, we will drop the charge and come back in with a miniature ladder test here at 500 yards, depending on which place I can go shoot at next time. But that's what we got today.